Hello everyone and welcome to ET Government Smart City Dialogues. I am Arpit Gupta. The Smart City Dialogues are centered around the future of cities and their development. We host a Smart City leader every week to share their experiences in dealing with technology adoption, outcomes, priorities, and future roadmaps. Today, our guest is Mr. Sridhar Gadhi, Founder and Chief Executive Officer, Quantela. Welcome, Mr. Sridhar.
Thank you, Arpit.
Mr. Sridhar is the founder and executive chairman of Quantela, a new age digital technology solutions company. He is a proven business leader, angel investor, and leadership mentor. A Harvard Business School graduate, Sridhar has a vision to develop low-cost sustainable solutions for the smart communities which are scalable to a global level. I once again welcome you, Sridhar, and let's begin the conversation.
Thanks again. I'm happy to be here.
My first question to you: how has been the journey of Quantela from dashboard company to outcomes as a service smart city technology provider in smart cities and urban infrastructure in India? Over to you, Sridhar.
It's a very exciting journey. It's not just developing a product and how we evolved, because being a ran services company, built and sold software services companies in the past, our evolution from services to product, how you integrate your services mindset into a product, and how we evolve the product to make it market fit. Because any product, when you start developing, you have a vision which is at 1,000 feet level. I feel any product company from 1,000 feet level to really understand what exactly need of the customer is and remove all the noise, get the real pulse of the need, and developing the product which fits to the market, then scale is very important. Our journey is exactly similar. So I built and sold software services companies, but I always wanted to build one product of global scale. And we were working with a leader in smart cities, Cisco at that time. Cisco built a great product for smart cities. Their product integrates different sensors, cameras into a single platform seamlessly, and it normalizes the data and it secures the data very well. And as you know, Cisco is extremely good at connecting and securing things. And they were in need for a dashboard partner who can show all the smart city elements, because city requires different kinds of infrastructure to be integrated into a platform. How can you show everything into a single platform and operate entire city from a single platform, setting the policies, developing reports? So that's what is the need for them. So we built a product, a dashboard, and we OEM'd our software to Cisco. That's how our journey started. From there, how we evolved as an outcome as a service, I'll share with you. When we developed a dashboard for smart city and for Cisco built platform in the backend, we started going and selling it to different cities all over the world. It was 5 years back, and smart cities is still a buzzword, and everybody wanted to build, smart city more like, okay, we have done a smart city. When we went back and looked at the utilization of the smart city platform by the actual cities, we have seen the real utilization is only 10 to 20% of the platform. Reason is, one, the platform is not fully aligned to what city needs. Second, city officials are not always government officials, so not always technology people. If you go and serve a Fortune 500 company, you're working with CTO, head of engineering, who understand the technology and they know how to use the technology. Whereas in the government, they may not be always very technology pro. So first thing we understood that we have to make sure our technology is understood, implemented at a customer location where he can start utilizing and getting the actual value out of it. Then one of my board members said, hey, ran a services company before. You're very good at providing a service. Why don't you call it as a technology with a service now mindset? So we transformed as a technology company with a service now mindset, which means we took the ownership of providing the technology and taking the ownership of implementation and help customer to use it and succeed. The technology with the service now mindset really helped us to scale our business. Since then, we have gone up to 100 cities. We implemented our technology. And once we become service now mindset, there is a huge amount of learning between what the customer needs versus what the really platform provides. Because at that time, different IoT providers, IoT platform people used to call smart city platform, AI platform people used to call smart city platform, typical dashboard companies used to call smart city platform. This technology with service now mindset would really help to create a purpose built urban infrastructure platform which does exactly what city wants. So that way, any integration of different applications into a platform and using, so if somebody is taking a year, we could do it in 1 month. Fast, speed, and scalability really helped us to reach 100 cities within 1.5 year time. Which helped us to get global recognition, including World Economic Forum and different platforms, including from Economic Times receiving awards. That has given huge advantage to reach global beyond India. Then pandemic happened. So pandemic has two things happen. One, pandemic, there is a need for acceleration of digitization because with pandemic, people want to work from home, study from home, and they want to consume different city level services from home because they can't go out, they don't want to go out. At the same time, cities in general are in a financial crunch and they depend on the grants of the federal government. With this, cities are busy with taking care of COVID quarantine centers, taking care of vaccine execution. So they don't have enough funds to take care of the digital investments for the city. But there is a clear need to provide digitized services to the citizens and digitized infrastructure which you can operate from anywhere. That's so we have pivoted as an outcome as a service, which means as a technology company, we invest into the infrastructure, we operate for the cities, and we help cities and citizens to provide the best service at our cost. And we create monetization models based on creating certain revenues or saving money for the city.
Thank you, Sridhar, for explaining the journey of Quantela so nicely, how you have evolved. My next question to you, how Quantela's outcome-based financing helps cities improve crisis resiliency, monetize urban infrastructure and city data while improving urban livability and delivery of citizen services. Over to you.
So outcomes as a service really helps make cities sustainable, scale, because earlier we have seen several cities implementing those technologies as a pilot, certain part of the city. This really helps cities sustainable and scale. At the same time, provide economical, environmental, and social benefits to citizens and cities at all levels. So the way we have evolved, as I mentioned to you, from dashboard to outcome as a service. So when we started, we are purely a technology company. We have realized that in this evolution process, having a just technology experience is not enough. So when we built a purpose-built urban infrastructure platform, now suddenly as an outcome as a service, we have to provide the actual outcomes to the citizens and cities. First thing what we have realized is our technology platform does IoT integration, sensors integration, but we don't have video intelligence. And there is a huge amount of video play in the entire smart city story. So we invested into a company in Singapore called Graymatics. We integrated video intelligence into a single platform. That way we have the sensors and videos, everything integrated into a single platform. Because smart city platform requires IT, OT, IoT, video, satellite data, GIS data, open data, everything bringing it to a single platform. Then we felt we need implementation experience. You can't be just technology company. You need entire implementation to implement this technology for the customer. Then after that, we felt, as I mentioned to you, you need to provide funding to the customer and you monetize or you save the money and you take the revenue share of it instead of asking cities to invest to scale. Our investor, Digital Alpha, at that time raised around $1 billion for outcome-based financing, which means any viable project, they provide risk equity into this specific SPV for this specific project, where they bet on whatever the value created and take a share of it. So we could get a great partner who can invest into these projects. So then once you have technology implementation and funding, because we are also owning operation of this specific for 5 years, 10 years, because by operating it, we'll be able to show these revenues or savings. We brought Terrasis India, which used to be called ILFS. Terrasis operates around 5 state governments, urban services like land record management, that kind of stuff in India. And they have experience of operating entire Philippines as a country, urban services, land records. So they had lots of operating experience. So internally, we built from a technology into video, then into getting a very innovative funding, then operational experience. End to end, we were able to implement while providing all the services to citizens. We were able to save the money or create the revenues and take the share of.
Sridhar, one very interesting thing I would like to discuss here in this conversation. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is planning to initiate integrated command and control center, ICCC, as a service in the smart cities, and trying to create a business model for cities, as cities are known as growth engine for the economic of these cities. What is your take on this? How this model will evolve in future?
I can say it's a great initiative by the central government. In fact, we have closely worked with Smart City Mission Director Kunal Kumar, Padam, who is part of the mission. If you look at what we spoke about, outcome as a service now mindset is closely aligned to what they are trying to do. Smart. So the India has advantage of leapfrogging the smart city mission earlier than anybody else. The huge amount of learnings what they have in smart city 1.0, they're able to implement in 2.0, a plan to implement in 2.0, where they can execute many number of smart cities at a lower cost. For example, today in a specific state, there are 10 cities which are doing a smart city. Every city has its own command control centers, own infrastructure to do the projects. In the future, when you go to the next level towns, you can have a single command control center, which is cloud, and then you have all other city services can be consumed from a single platform. I can say that at a fraction of the cost, you'll be able to provide the smart city services to every city and every town. So it's a great initiative.
Sridhar, my next question to you is, can you share some successful outcomes as a service deployment across the globe? And can you also touch on how the outcomes impacted the end citizens?
Sure. So we have implemented, once we started outcome as a service model, we have implemented on several projects globally. But I'll take two examples here. One in United States, the other one is in Middle East. In United States, there is a city called Erie, Pennsylvania. When we met mayor and we asked them what are the typical problems they have, which they wanted to solve. So for them, in certain parts of the city, they realized that kids were getting lower grades. They couldn't figure out why. When they did a further study, they found out that this specific area, kids doesn't have Wi-Fi services at home, and they couldn't afford Wi-Fi services. So they couldn't do homeworks at home. So they have to go back to school, do the homework, and again study. So there is a responsibility for the city to provide Wi-Fi services, equal Wi-Fi services to everybody in the city. They asked us, how can you help providing Wi-Fi services to the city? But we have a very limited capital available. So then we created a very nice structure for them to solve the problem, and not only to solve the problem, to provide additional value to the entire ecosystem. First of all, we said, okay, you have a limited budget. We know that federal has a grant of equal amount contribution, whatever the city invests. So we worked with them to get equal amount from the federal, but that's still not enough. So we said, hey, you have lighting, which is normal lighting today. We will convert that into smart lighting. By converting lighting into smart lighting and converting into LEDs, there is a 50% energy saving right there. We will take that money and reinvest into providing Wi-Fi services to the needy people. Then you can say, how do we monetize? How as a company we can do? One, the lighting savings you could invest. And also when we provide Wi-Fi services free of cost, using the data privacy laws of the specific state, we could also create some kind of value on the data which is collected by following all the privacy laws. So that made them self-sustainable for them to get free Wi-Fi. The benefit doesn't end there. Once you convert lighting into smart lighting, carbon emission will be reduced by 50%, which means there is a clear benefit for the environment because you are using less carbon. Then third, in a typical city, if the light goes down, unless somebody complains, nobody knows. And if for a specific period of time, nobody complains, usually what happens, the potential possibility of people mobilizing, having drinks, anything can happen, right? So that will create again a social problem. Some kind of crime can happen. So once you convert lighting into smart lighting and convert and do it operate from a platform, you will be able to gauge any time when the light goes down, you will be able to immediately know and go and fix it. Not only that, with AI, over the course of time, you will be able to know when the lighting could get damaged with that data so that you can proactively go and fix and make it always active, which is clearly helping social, environmental, and economical using this model and make it sustainable for the city. I'll also give you one more example in Middle East. There is a city where they wanted to make school bus and in and around school bus safety, because the safety of students, kids who are going from home to school in a safe way and clearly monitored is extremely important. And they want to develop a technology. So they asked us, can you make it self-sustainable investment model to make this whole thing safe? So what we have done is we have created again safety technology in and around school bus with the cameras and everything. And within school bus. So one, obviously we know how many people entered the bus versus again how many people reached the destination, which route they have taken, are they going in the right direction to go to the school, or that's one level. Second, in and around when you have a camera in the school bus, it's closely monitoring cars and other vehicles going around the school bus. You know that always there are certain restrictions on speed at which somebody can go when the school bus stops, when the student is getting out. So it automatically generates tickets whenever somebody violates in and around school bus. So once you get the tickets, next time you'll be extremely careful, obviously, which means eventually it will reduce again accidents apart from the safety. And how it's sustainable for somebody who is investing into the project, because it's creating the tickets, you will be able to generate the revenue, city is able to generate the revenue, and city is able to share certain part of the revenue with the company who invested into us. So you are providing safety, at the same time you are able to generate the revenues, and you're able to make it self-sustainable. So that's another model. There are several models which I can talk about it, but I can talk about the two best models.
Thank you, Sridhar, for highlighting your global journey and your experiences in US and Middle East. My next question to you, smart cities are pursuing next-gen technologies as future opportunities. How technologies can help cities manage, control, and optimize their infrastructure? Over to you.
Yeah. So technologies are always there, but today the best thing is technology, availability of technology, affordability of those technologies, and adaptability of those technologies is extremely high because everything becomes digital first today. It could be sensors, IoT sensors. It could be cameras. Today you have cameras at the edge and rollout of 5G applications, all over the city, is going to really accelerate, smart city implementation. And with AI, you will be able to further accelerate the technology at a reduced cost. I'll give you one example to say that how AI is powerful using this technology and reduce further cost. For example, if you wanted to know pollution level at the city level, earlier you need to put environmental sensors and different locations within the city. For example, you say around 1,000 locations within the city. Now, with only providing, let's say, hundreds sensors in a strategic location, taking that data and taking some kind of satellite data, meteorological data, you will be able to do AI models to automatically predict the pollution levels at other parts of the city with a less number of sensors. So that way, those technologies are going to play major role in building of future smart cities.
Thank you, Sridhar. And we are almost at the end of our conversation today. So my last question to you is, which are your next focused or potential domains at Quantela? And going forward, what are your immediate priorities? Over to you.
So in general, when you talk about smart city, traffic and safety always comes first. And obviously, when you do traffic, it helps to create a better environment because it reduces the pollution level. So otherwise, lighting, waste, safety, environment, traffic, some of those verticals which are of real need for the city. Coming back to Quantela, we have seen different kinds of verticals over the course of time. There is a need. And then we prioritize what are the real problems, where our outcome as a service model will fit in, where either we'll be able to clearly generate revenue or save cost to the city while we provide the best environmental and social benefits to the city and citizens. So the focus areas for us is energy. As I mentioned to you, there is a clear saving of energy by making smart lighting. Safety, again, as I mentioned to you, safety is a huge use case for cities, because as a city, it's the most important to provide safe city for the citizens. At the same time, with the traffic violation software we have, we're able to generate revenues, which is helping safety. Then public space digitization. By creating different public spaces, digitization not only provide the best services to the citizens, where there is no monetization, but by digitizing the outdoor digital hoardings, we are able to create the revenues and provide public spaces safe and technology enabled. Then the citizen services. With pandemic, more and more people wanted to consume different services from home. So we provide citizen services. So these are the four verticals where we focus.
Thank you, Sridhar. It was really a great interaction with you. Our sincere thanks to you for accepting our invitation and making today's show wonderful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Arpit. Thank you.